The ANC's National Executive Committee met briefly at 2 p.m. today over the Phala Phala report. It then adjourned in order to allow ANC officials time to study the Section 89 report. The party says it will then convene a National Working Committee meeting. eNCA senior reporter Spamandla Goke following the developments, and he has a guest with him this hour from KZN, Bheki Mtolo, a senior official of the ANC in KwaZulu-Natal, but also a member of the NEC. Good afternoon, Spamandla.
Absolutely, yes. Mr. Bheki Mtolo is the Provincial Secretary of the ANC in KwaZulu-Natal. We just want to get his views about this meeting. Mr. Mtolo, your views on this meeting, what do you make of the fact that it had to be adjourned because there was a recommendation that it goes to the officials, the NWC and the NEC? Surely that's something that the ANC should have thought about in the beginning.
Yeah, I think it's something unprecedented because we thought we were called in the NEC meeting. Officials have said and reflected on the matter, and then of course goes to NWC so that the NWC makes recommendation to the NEC. But when we came in, we discovered that those processes were not followed. Then the NEC unfortunately has to be adjourned, and then I believe the officials have briefed you. Then let's take it from there.
It was a waste of time, simply put.
Yeah, simply put, but also South Africans are waiting for the ANC to have a view and to give direction now. I think it's one of those things, but I think we said it must be called within a short space of time before Monday, because Monday there must be caucus in Parliament, because this report must go to Parliament on the 6th.
What is the view of the ANC in KwaZulu-Natal? Should President Ramaphosa of the ANC resign?
No, that's not a view of the ANC in KwaZulu-Natal. Remember, we have not called the PC. We have not developed a view. But it can be what we say. We trust that he's going to do what is right for the country, for himself, and for the movement.
Mr. Mtolo, you're live on Newsroom Africa. What do you make of reports that the president intended to resign and had to be convinced not to?
I don't work on rumors, you know me. I work on what, until we get a factual report that the president decided to resign and then was convinced. Until that has not happened, I can't comment on that.
Do you think there's a solid basis for him to step aside?
Sorry?
Do you think there's a solid basis for him to step aside?
No, not necessarily step aside. You know, some of us who are principled, we are not going to say because it's Ramaphosa we believe on the step aside. You know the position of KZN, we don't believe on the step aside. What we say is that step aside, remember, is not moving away from your position. What we say is that he must take the right decision.
What reason were you told for the non-presence of the ANC president in this NEC meeting? Did you feel disrespected by any way that a deployee that you've sent to the union buildings pretty much decided not to attend the special NEC meeting?
We were not going to say now necessarily, but we can say there was a mismanagement of the whole process. I think that's how we can say there was a mismanagement of the whole process.
Is this a virtue and a true testament that your disorganization in the SGO is coming out to the fore in how this particular issue is now being handled, proving former President Thabo Mbeki right that you are not ready to handle this matter, and he's being proven right by his words that what happens if the ANC president is found wanting, hence you can't even organize a meeting to discuss this matter and fulfill and finish that meeting.
Yeah, but remember, you can't blame the SGO. The SGO convene meeting based on if the quorum is going to be there. Then I know that the SGO tried to convene meetings, but if people are busy, they can't come to meetings, then you can't solely blame the SGO. I think it's unfair to the SGO, because I know literally you want to blame Comrade Paul deliberately. I don't know why you do that, because it's not his fault that people could not come to meetings. But I think before Monday we'll sit the NEC and discuss the matters. But I also think President Abupege, yeah, I think he was correct to say the ANC must start to prepare the eventuality of all sides. I think now that's what has happened. I think we are really not ready. And but I think by Sunday, the country, at least by Monday, when we wake up, the country will know what is the view of the ANC.
When you say you must take the right decision, considering the current situation, what does that mean?
The right decision is a decision that will not drag this thing until 2024.
What does that mean?
A decision is that This thing must not drag until 2024. The ANC can't afford to go with this thing being either fought in court, either fought in parliament, and all that. It can't afford that. It can't afford that.
But with these events happening just weeks before the national conference to elect new leaders, what, in your view, is the state of the ANC as things are?
Repeat your question?
No, I'm saying with these events unfolding just weeks before the election of a new leadership, what is the state of the ANC currently in your view?
The state of the ANC is good. It has run almost 4,000 branches. They are going to conference in the next 2 weeks. Then the state of the ANC is right.
Mr. Mtolo, was there a contradiction in sight between the national chair and the TG on the non-presence of the president?
There was no contradiction.
How is your process of reassessing in KwaZulu-Natal the support for Paul Mashatile as the deputy president candidate going?
Repeat that question.
How is your reassessment process of Paul Mashatile's support in KwaZulu-Natal ahead of the conference going?
Paul Mashatile is going for a program in KZN in the next weekend.
And
Still support him for the DP position?
He's going to meet delegates in the next weekend in KZN.
are you still confident in the campaign of your presidential candidate, Dr. Zweli?
Yes, he's going to close the conference on the 20th of December.
Are you sure about that?
He's going to close the conference.
What makes you so sure?
You will be here.
What makes you so sure?
I'm sure because it's got majority of delegates that are going to vote here in this conference.
Mr.
When you say
Mtolo,
that
do you think that the findings of the Phala report emboldened Zweli and now the power has shifted towards your presidential candidate?
Phala is not about Zweli Mkhize, it's about the president.
When you say that the ANC can't afford for this issue to drag on through Parliament and the courts until 2024, you mean it would be best if the president would step aside or resign as the head of state?
It will be best that the president take a decision that this thing does not drag until 2024.
Do you think it creates a crisis that the president is keeping the country and the ANC in suspense about his decision whether to resign or not?
No, it's not a crisis.
What is it?
Not a crisis. Not a crisis. Remember, the South African democracy is so solid in such a way that it does not rest on an individual. It's not a crisis.
Okay, thank you very much for time. That is Mr. Peggy Mtolo, who's the provincial secretary of the ANC in KwaZulu-Natal, basically talking to us about the reaction inside that meeting. We are told that indeed the meeting took a resolution that the report of the Section 89 panel has to be taken to the officials of the ANC and the National Working Committee before going to the National Executive Committee of the ANC. Seems as if some NEC members were not really pleased with that because they say it's flawed on the part of the ANC not to follow such a simple organizational route of doing things. Let me see who else we can find on the other side. There is the ANC Youth League National Task Team. I'm going to ask my colleague Lingendabambi to come with me. Please bear with us as he is taking his camera. We're just trying to get more reaction from the ANC Youth League's National Task Team. I think it's Joy Maela. Let's try and get a comment to hear the view of young people as to what do they make of what happened inside that meeting. Let's just take a listen.
Structure that also processes every decision or any report. So they would, in their own wisdom, process any matter before them in their own way. But of course, the NEC would have to come and express themselves on how they've processed or how they've chosen to process a matter. And the NEC has expressed itself that their decision perhaps was not the wisest decision at the time.
Do you feel disrespected by the non-presence of the ANC president, particularly knowing historically when former President Zuma faced motions of no confidence and Nkandla debates after the Public Protector's report, he was present in those NEC meetings?
Look, it would depend. It would depend. If he just simply said, I'm not going to come to a meeting, then that would be an issue. But if there is an understanding that he was advised not to come, then it is not out of his own will. It was not an intention to disrespect the NEC. I don't think he deliberately disrespected the NEC. I do believe that when we reconvene, the president will come. He's always been, even in the last meeting, he presented the matter himself. He was in the meeting and he presented the matter.
What is the view of young people? Should he resign? And also, what do you make of the fact that just a simple organizational process of taking the report to the officials, the NWC and the NEC was flawed? What do you make of that?
Look, The first thing is this matter is very difficult for all of us. And as young people, we do have views. I do have views. And
What are your views?
We'll express them in the NEC meeting, and that is organizational. That's why there's an NEC meeting. We're going to express those views there in a structure and say what is it that we believe should happen moving forward. And of course, it is unfortunate because South Africans are waiting for the ANC to provide direction. It's actually uncalled for that as a structure we can't give direction. We're very disappointed as young people, but of course we're part of the structure. We can't exonerate ourselves from this flawed process.
But surely as young people you can talk about these things. You can have a position while waiting for the NEC to convene. This is a crisis facing a country. It's an ANC crisis affecting the country. You are the governing party. As the ANC Youth League, as young people, you should be having a voice. This is your future.
We do have a voice, but we're members of the ANC. We are a structure that is an integral structure of the ANC. That's why we sit in NEC meetings. It's so that we are given a platform to air our views. We've got very strong views and we're going to raise them in a meeting.
What do you think of the fact that the President has been consulting outside of ANC structures and the Treasurer General has confirmed he's not formally consulted with the ANC yet on this decision on whether or not to resign?
That would be really unorganizational. The President is a deployee of the ANC. You would expect a deployee of the ANC to firstly come to the officials and consult with the officials, but also then to come to the NEC. We've not received formal reports. We've just seen the allegations, and if those allegations are true, that would be very unorganizational. In fact, they don't reflect the renewal that we speak about. The renewal that we speak about is us ensuring that we are firm-rooted in organizational processes, and we would believe that any deployee of the ANC, when there are issues with their deployment or any issues, they should come to the ANC to consult.
A number of young people have been nominated to serve in the ANC's National Executive Committee. Some of your former leaders in the Youth League are there. What do you make of the composition of that list that has been presented? Nominations for now, they still need to be voted for.
Look, we are fairly satisfied. We would have wanted more young people to make it to the 200 list because we had more young people, but we are fairly satisfied, and we will be going all out to engage structures of the ANC branches to ensure that at least those that have made it to the top 200 make it to the top 80, because we are very clear about the NEC becoming younger. We are very clear on that position. So we're excited that majority of the people that are nominated are fairly younger.
Thank you very much for time. Well, that is the ANC Youth League's National Task Teams. Join Mahela as we are trying to get more reaction from some of the people from the ANC who are here. Let's go and chase Sibongile Pesani. Sibongile Pesani is the head of ANC presidency. We'll try and get some comment from Sibongile Pesani just to get reaction, because he's the man who speaks with President Ramaphosa a lot. And Sibongile Pesani is the one who advised the President Ramaphosa not to resign. Let's just read.
No. As a matter of principle, generally when you are in a meeting and the meeting discusses you, you normally recuse yourself. It's not about fear, it is a general principle.
But when you discuss former President Zuma and his reports, he would be here in these meetings.
Yeah, but he would get recused. He will be excused, sorry, rather.
Are you one of those people who persuaded President Ramaphosa not to resign, and what is his thinking right now?
No. I don't persuade President to resign or not to resign, you know. I work in the presidency, and then my role is to fortify the office. It's not to deal with things that may have impact on him as a person.
But what do you think of what is going on? How does he feel?
Why did the President want to resign?
No, I don't know what you're talking about. The President never said he wants to resign, or he has not reported anything like that.
Let's talk about the impact of this scandal. It's damaging to the President, it's damaging to the ANC as a governing party. Surely something has got to give. Are you not ashamed of how this Phala Phala saga is playing out?
Look, if you look at the report on face value, this is a damaging report, as you put it. But if you look deeper, the report is very clear that there are a number of things that could not be excavated to provide a very conclusive recommendation. So in as much as we know that anything that is negative is damaging on any organization, the ANC is taking the process forward to ensure that at least we recover from any form of negativity.
Mr. Basane, you put in a lot of work. Are you concerned that the renewal campaign is on the verge of collapse?
No. Any negative thing does.
Well, Mr. Sibongile Pesani there, as he's busy trying to answer some of the questions here. A number of ANC NEC members are still around. We were trying to get more comment and reaction from some of them. In front of me, I see Obed Papela, and I think I also see TK Ngiza that side. TK is the Provincial Secretary of the ANC in Gauteng. There is Obed Popela here and Alfred Botes. Let's go to TK Ngiza, who's the Provincial Secretary of the ANC in Gauteng, and hear what Gauteng has got to say about this. Most of the people don't want to respond here.
Spamanda, as you go there to Ngiza, can we make it the last person? And then we have to carry on here in studio.
Samgele, I don't know. What do you want me to say?
What is the organizational processes that should be followed now, going forward, knowing that Cyril Ramaphosa is a member of the eNCA in Gauteng, you are the provincial secretary, as a leadership of the province? How are you viewing these allegations of the president and these findings by the Section 89 panel?
Well, I think let's allow the meeting of the ANC to sit, because the NEC meeting is sitting, and let's allow that. You are supposed to sit today. Technicalities were there. The president did not come. He raised his own views. The views of the meeting is that he must come to the meeting of the ANC, and we agree with that. We can only raise our views after the meeting of the ANC. We honestly don't have our personal views in these issues. We raise
basically, TK Ngiza, they're saying they don't have their personal views here. They will raise their views in the meeting, but saying President Cyril Ramaphosa of the ANC must attend that NEC meeting. So that's where we will leave it for now, and we'll take it back to you in studio as we chase more reaction.
Thank you very much, Spamandla Goke, for that live update, moving from one official to the other, just to give our viewers, give you as our viewers, a sense of what's been happening and the comments by various ANC officials. If you've just joined us, the ANC's National Executive Committee meeting, which was set for today, 2 p.m., did convene. It was a very short meeting, then it adjourned. Why? Because the NEC decided that officials of the ANC must be the ones first to study the report and then convene a national working committee of the ANC, and thereafter the NEC will meet again. And all of this must happen before next Tuesday, the 6th of December. That is what the ANC has said. Why? Because on Tuesday, Parliament will be debating the Phala Phala report that was issued by the three-person independent panel headed by former Chief Justice Judge Sandile Ngcobo.